ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm with a friend of me, George Pease. We going to have very interesting conversation about a phenomena called walk in. If you heard about this, okay. If you not, today you're going to learn more. So my special guest today in UFO Disclosure Bulgaria is George Pease. Hello, George.
Hello, Ivan. Good to see you.
Me too. So a while ago, you mentioned about this phenomenon walk-in.
Yeah, the
What
walk-in.
exactly is a walk-in?
Well,
What means?
what a walk-in means, somebody who, an individual, a person, an identity. I like to call them people, even though most people call them alien. I like the concept of people better. I think they're people. They're just not exactly the same as us. Okay, but a lot of time when they're referring to walk-ins, although this isn't exclusively a walk-in, but a lot of times when they're referring to a walk-in, they're referring to a non-human entity that walks into another person's body, and that other person either leaves or maybe it stays on. But the ones that I'm familiar with, I know 3 walk-ins. 2 of them very quite well, and they were, you'd call them aliens. I could just call them people, and they walked into other people's bodies.
Entities, maybe?
Entities, yeah, they would say they're entities, but entities creates a lot of misconception.
Okay.
Entities is a very loaded term.
Okay.
It's not a clean term. It's not a clear term. There's a lot of baggage that's been associated with entities. You know, it's a slurred term. It's a slurred concept.
Okay.
But these people were, they were people, but they're alien people. And 2 of them that I'm thinking of right now walked into other people's bodies under very different circumstances from each other. The one that I'm most attracted to, that I relate to the most, was a lady. The walk-in, she's, okay. She told me where she was from, hesitantly. She didn't really want to tell me,
Yeah.
but I pressed, and she felt I was not threatening. So, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't make a lot of assumptions about her based on the information she gave me. She realized that, so she told me where she was from. And but interesting. Would you like to know how it happened?
Yes.
The story? Okay. So there is a lady, and I believe where this occurred was in Nevada. So there's a lady, and she's driving down the street. She's a young lady in her 30s, and she has a small family, single mother, has a couple of children, and she's on the road. You know, the highway can be a dangerous place. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but what was happening was she was about to crash into another car. The walk-in lady comes to her. These walk-ins can, at least this walk-in lady can suspend time. So you've heard about where it's only a second, but to the person it seems like a long time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but really it's only a second. She's getting into this car's coming at her. She realizes they're going to collide. There's nothing she can do about it. And instinctually, she knows it's going to kill her. The walk-in comes to her, suspends time, and makes this proposition with her. Says, look, I will come in. You won't, if you stay in this circumstance, you don't have the strength for your body to recuperate. But I'm a lot more stronger, and I can make the body recuperate. So if you're willing, I will come into your body, and I will take care of your children and raise them. And so, so the lady's like, okay. that's a deal. And so she walks in, and what's interesting about this conversation is that what's interesting about the conversation about the circumstances is that she came in fully conscious of who she was. A walk-in, there's no veil. A lot of times you're born, there's a veil that happens. So she came in directly from the veil, directly from a walk-in situation. She knows exactly who she is. She knows exactly where she's come from. It's a different planetary system that she's in, and the lady, out of concern for her children, probably trusted the lady, and she had to make a decision. Hopefully, she dies, her kids or she trusts this lady and lets this lady come into her body.
So basically, the kids not was able to recognize the differences.
Yes, I think the kids know the difference. Now, whether they recognized it immediately, I don't know. But the kids know that she's a walk-in. She didn't hide that from them. How she rolled that out, I don't know.
So when the walk-in go to the body,
Right.
did the walk-in get the same, receiving, accepting the same habits, the same ideas, consciousness, have the...
Well, I think in a situation, I can't say definitely, but I can, give you my impressions. So my impressions are that, my impression is that she has full access to all the memories and emotions that that this lady has.
Yeah.
When she goes into her body. So she knows, she has the memories are in the brain, memories encoded. She has all of that info, And now she was very different from the other lady. My impression is she didn't try, I don't think, to mimic the lady, other than maybe to bring comfort to the children and help the children. But otherwise, she didn't feel constrained to maintain the identity of the lady. Other than she wouldn't share what had happened with just somebody that she ran into or met, or because they would consider they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, what is the mission of this walk-in?
I think the primary mission was experience. To get the experience, to get human experience.
So they was born without a physical body, but they still have some consciousness, some
No,
kind
no,
of...
they have physical bodies.
Oh, they have?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. So I don't know if her body back on her planet went into stasis. I don't know what happened there.
So,
But these people, where she came from my experience, and I've taken a very curious interest in these kinds of phenomena for 2 or 3 decades. So I have some basis. It's not a lot of basis,
Right.
but it is enough basis
Yeah.
that I can navigate some things, and I know enough to be able to navigate some information and intel. That makes sense. So this lady, she comes into the body. She's very humble, by the way. And that was one thing that really that I found really curious, because from our perspective, her knowledge would make her almost godlike, God little g. In other words, she knows information that people in our dimension, and this is kind of a trite way of saying
past,
it.
present, future?
Yeah, well, and just knowledge of what things are.
Oh, okay.
Her bandwidth of knowing other peoples, of knowing people of other species and other planets, and just her general cosmic information would be 1,000 times what somebody growing up in our circumstances would be, because we just don't have that kind of exposure.
Yeah.
So she had great exposure. And at the time, I have to say, I didn't really appreciate it. the breadth and scope of her knowledge, which I do now. Now I do have some appreciation.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very curious. I thought it was very fascinating. I'm a fairly critical individual. She struck me as being very credible, and she gave me insight into a whole different worlds that I would have never gotten otherwise had I not met with her. Yeah, and I met with her. We became friends, and mostly we actually meet up at seminars. That's where we meet up, would be at seminars, and I spent some time with her on the phone. And after that, I lost her phone number because my phone went dead. I had to get a new phone.
How you met with her? You said you met in the
Well,
in the
okay,
seminars, but how?
I met-
How you recognize that she's a walk-in?
Oh, she told me.
She came to you and
Well, okay. So this is kind of an intricate story. Maybe I got something here that will illustrate this a little more. Unless I don't have it. But anyway, I produce some very exotic materials relative to this earth. They're not really, they would be considered so-so in other places. Other places would go, yeah, it's an okay, like maybe a vitamin D shot or something. But to this planet, it's a step above anything that we have on this planet, as far as I can see. One of those products is Ormus. It's a little, it's elements that, if you wanted to categorize this element, if you thought of it as exotic matter, or you thought of it as rare earth kind of minerals, you wouldn't be that wrong. But there's a whole story. There is a previous video on this that would have a little more insight on it if you want.
so maybe because of these materials,
Okay, it was. So I went down and I sat with her, and I met her at a Sasquatch convention in Washington, the state of Washington. That's where I met her, and she was helping them facilitate this. It's in Washington. Trying to think of the name. It's an Indian name. At any rate, so this is where we met, and we just got talking. And in the course of our talking, I presented her with some Ormus, and I also make orgonite. And the orgonite is very powerful. It's a subtle exotic energy, so it isn't powerful like Avengers, but in its effects are very powerful. They more follow the lines of nature rather than drama. We humans, we like drama, right? I love Avengers, I love Avengers. But is that really reality? Is that really how nature works? Does nature work in an Avenger fashion? Not so much, but it's fun. And anyway, so that aside, I was sharing, we were talking about some stuff. She took one of my pieces of orgonite and almost fell off of the chair. She understood what it was. She's probably the very first person I ran across who really understood what was going on with the orgonite. And she was astounded. Mm-hmm. And so she opened up and we had this conversation.
okay.
That's how I met her.
And you say that you had a bad experience with another person,
I
another
didn't-
walk-in. What happened with that man?
Okay, I'm hesitant to tell you many details because I don't want anybody connecting the dots and finding out who this person is.
Okay.
For both of us. But I'll just say this person almost killed me. This person was from a very different place. He's from a warrior race, and when I say kill, it wouldn't be like in the United States kind of format, because somebody that would kill in this format would be murder. Well, that's not really murder where they come from. It's more triumph. It's more warrior, kind of Spartan-ish, like the Spartans were in Greece. And So, or maybe the ninjas in Japan, it's more that mentality. So he's not a sociopathic murderer, So I may have to make that distinction.
Yeah.
But I ended up on the wrong end of the situation, and it almost cost me.
How you met him?
I met him through some energy people. I work a lot with energy people. I love to explore energy. I love to chat with energy people and just get amazing amounts of information from them. This incredible knowledge out there. People who pursued it a little bit, and they find out some really fascinating stuff. So it was because I pursue that. So if I get a name, meet somebody that's interesting, I try to follow up with them and find out what they know, and share with them what I know, and that's kind of how I like to roll. And so it was through that process that I met this guy.
And this walking day, where they live?
Where do they live? They're in the
Were they
United
just only in the United States or all over in the globe?
No, this walk-in was different. He walked into his mother's fetus. The fetus was dead for 2, and she's a nurse. She's a surgical nurse. His mother was, so she knows the medical. Her fetus had no life signs for 2 weeks, and I don't know why they didn't go in and do what's a medical procedure where they go in and remove the dead fetus, but they didn't. She hadn't gotten to that yet. Before she got to it, the fetus came back alive, and that's when this guy walked into it. They raised him in their family as their own. He always told them he wasn't in their family. He always told them he was from another planet. And they're like, no, you're our little boy. We love you, And they really tried to poo-poo that because, what would you do? Imagine you're in that situation, and now your little child is telling you, hey, folks, geez, I really like you. You're cool parents, but I'm not really your kid. I'm an alien, and I'm from another place.
Yeah.
And so that was a big concern to them, that they were always trying to shore him up, make him feel, because they interpreted this as that he's mentally, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's got aberrancies, but they really, I don't think really comprehended that he actually knew exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But they had really strange experiences with this kid right away. Like the kid would be 3 years old, they're on a farm, the kid's upstairs, and now all of a sudden he's out in the pig pen. Immediately. He's transported from upstairs into the pig pen. So he could Bible kick.
Jumpers.
He's a jumper. So they would just like sweep this under the rug, and they didn't want to deal with it. They're very good people. The walk-in wanted to be a good person. And this is one of the reasons I don't want to out him, is that he wants to be a good person, but he is a warrior. He's a Draco. He's a warrior class person, and it's a crocodile. Maybe you can be on friendly terms with a crocodile. He can be your buddy and everything else, but when he gets his crocodile instinct, it may not work out well. It may work out bad. So that's kind of a similarity of the situation.
How many of them are in the U.S. or you don't know?
No, I have no idea. These are just my personal experiences with walk-ins. I haven't done a study on them. I haven't. I just had the good fortune. In this case, it was a good fortune. I mean, even though it almost cost me my life, at the end of the day, it was a good experience. But I was in a very dangerous situation that I didn't appreciate. And he didn't pull his punches. He let me know who he was. That was just my naivety. Me being human, raised in the United States, You don't go around, you know, yeah, anyway. But, you know, I have a rule, funny rule, when people try to kill me, I disassociate from them.
Okay.
You know, call me precious.
Yeah.
That's, you know, you try to kill me, we're not going to have anything to do with each other.
Okay.
Further on. Now, there were circumstances, not mine, none of them were, I didn't do anything to provoke it, you know, but there were circumstances involved.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in the end of this video. It's 20 minutes gone. We cannot stop the time because we don't have these powers. But basically, maybe we have to stay away from this walk-in.
Well, this walk-in could be very dangerous. The other walk-in from a completely different planet was the opposite of being dangerous.
Yeah.
She wasn't dangerous at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, she was much more sensitive than regular people. She had a lot of sensitivity. It was fascinating to be around her. She wasn't threatening. She wasn't from a culture that's a power warrior class culture.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, George, for this short information about the walk-in, because public of UFO discussion of Bulgaria, they had interest about this. But if they want to know more about that, they can meet you and they can talk with you.
If
Yeah.
you posted my phone number. It's California
Yes.
phone number. I'm in Utah now.
Yeah.
But it's I retained that number because a lot of people have that number. So yeah, I mean they can contact me and we'll arrange some time. I'll be happy to chat with you.
All right. Now, that's me now in the camera. Thank you very much, watchers, and don't forget to subscribe this channel because you're going to find much more interesting things. Have you heard about walk-in? No, I don't believe. So stay tuned and you'll know more. Bye for now, and I love you.